Ambassador William Carter felt small as he sat before the Galactic Council. The huge round room made the human group look tiny. This was done on purpose to make them feel weak. William straightened his back and tried to look brave. The room was filled with beings from 100 different worlds. Some had scales, some had too many eyes, some glowed, and others floated above their seats. All of them stared at the humans with cold curiosity. So Earth wants to join our great galactic alliance? The blue alien named Zorkath spoke with a voice that filled the entire chamber. His scales caught the light as he moved, and his 3 eyes blinked one after another while he looked down at William. Yes, William said, standing up tall. Earth comes in peace. We want to be friends and allies. Loud laughter spread through the room. William felt his face grow hot. Friends? A bug-like alien clicked its mouthparts together. This was the Varaxian delegate. Its hard shell gleamed like polished metal. What do humans bring to this alliance? Your ships are slow. Your technology is simple. You only learned to travel, faster than light 20 years ago. Why should we care about Earth? William looked at Dr. Elizabeth Grant, who sat beside him. She nodded and pressed a button on her wrist computer. A 3D image appeared in the air, showing Earth's defenses. Space. Stations with laser cannons, fleets of warships, and ground bases with huge guns pointing at the sky. We may be new to space travel, William said, but we know how to protect ourselves. Earth has built strong defenses. The laughter grew louder. A massive reptile alien with thick armor plates slammed its fist on its desk, making a sound like thunder. You call those weapons? It roared between laughs. My people built better toys for our children 1,000 years ago. Those little ships couldn't even dent our passenger vehicles. Elizabeth's hands tightened into fists. Her eyes flashed with anger. William touched her arm lightly, warning her to stay calm. We still wish to join, William said firmly. Or at least have a peace agreement. Our maps show the Kulari Empire is right next to our space. We know the Alliance doesn't get along with the Kulari. The room suddenly went quiet. You could hear a pin drop. Zorkath leaned forward, his blue scales darkening. How interesting. The Kulari also came to us as a young species once. We also told them no. And now you fear them? William's pocket device buzzed. He glanced down at the message from Admiral Patricia Winters. Urgent. Kulari warships approaching Earth. Hundreds of them, far more than we expected. Defense fleet moving to intercept. William's heart raced, but he kept his face calm. The Kulari are gathering ships at our border. If they attack us, we will fight back. If they use our space to sneak around your border patrols and attack you, that will be your fault for not helping us. They're probably just curious about their new neighbors, the bug alien said, waving its arm dismissively. Your weak sensors probably mistake greeting ships for war vessels. Elizabeth's device beeped loudly. She looked at it and went pale. She leaned close to William and whispered in his ear. The news made his blood run cold. We need a break from this meeting, William announced, standing up suddenly. Things have gotten worse back home. Oh. Zorkath's voice dripped with mockery. Has your weak little species already given up? Are you running back to hide from the big scary Kulari? The aliens began to laugh again, but William's face was stone-cold serious as he looked up at them. No, he said in a quiet voice that somehow silenced the entire room. The first shot has been fired. The chamber went completely still. What do you mean? Zorkath asked, no longer laughing. William looked at the message again. His hands were steady, but his heart pounded. The Kulari just destroyed one of our outer colony ships without warning. 200 people were on board. Elizabeth stood up beside him. Another message just came in. The Kulari fleet has entered our solar system. Their lead ships will reach Mars in 6 hours, and Earth in 12. This is absurd, the reptile alien growled. The Kulari would not dare start a major conflict. As if answering, the giant screen behind the council seats lit up with an emergency broadcast. It showed a massive fleet of silver and purple ships, moving in perfect formation. At the front, a moon-sized vessel led the way, its weapons already glowing with energy. That is the Kulari Death Fleet, gasped a small green alien council member. They only deploy it for full planetary conquests. William faced the council, his voice ringing through the chamber. Earth asked for your help and protection. You laughed at us. You mocked our weapons. Now the Kilari are coming to either conquer or destroy our world. What will you do? The council members looked at each other nervously. Finally, Zorkath spoke. The Alliance cannot act without a full vote. That would take days. We don't have days, Elizabeth said, her voice shaking with anger. We have hours. Then Earth stands alone, William said. He looked at each alien in turn. Remember this moment. Remember how you laughed when we showed you our defenses. You haven't seen everything we can do. His device buzzed again. Admiral Winters had sent another message. Defense Protocol Omega activated. All experimental weapon systems authorized. Tell the Council they're about to see what humans are really capable of. William smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. It wasn't a friendly smile. The Quillari think they're attacking a helpless world, he said. They're wrong. And so are you. He gestured at the screen showing the approaching fleet. Watch what happens when they fire the second shot. As William and Elizabeth walked out of the council chamber, whispers followed them. The aliens were no longer laughing. Some looked worried, others looked afraid, and they should be, William thought. Earth had been preparing for this day since humans first looked up at the stars and wondered, what if what's out there isn't friendly? Quillari were about to find out. And soon the Galactic Council would understand why it was a terrible mistake to mock human weapons. Admiral Patricia Winters stood on the bridge of the USS Defiant, Earth's biggest warship. The large screen in front of her showed hundreds of enemy ships coming toward Earth. There were way more Quillari ships than anyone had expected. All our defense stations are ready, Admiral, said Commander Jason Miller from his control panel. Our ground weapons are online too. We've moved 82% of civilians to the underground shelters. Patricia took a deep breath. She had served in Earth's defense forces for 20 years, but she never thought humans would face a space war so soon after learning to travel between stars. The Quillari are sending a message on all radio channels, said Olivia Spencer, the communications officer, putting it on screen now. A 3D image appeared on the bridge. It showed a Quillari commander, a tall alien that looked like a mix between an insect and a lizard. Its hard outer shell was decorated with strange symbols, and its many eyes glowed in different colors. Humans. The alien's clicks and whistles were changed into English by the computer. Your planet sits in a very important place. Give up now, and your people will work for our empire. Fight back, and we will burn your cities to the ground before taking what we want. Patricia stepped forward, keeping her face calm even though her heart beat fast. This is Admiral Patricia Winters of Earth's Defense Force. Earth belongs to humans. We have no fight with the Quillari Empire, but we will protect our home. The Quillari commander's mouth parts moved in what seemed like a smile. We know all about your weapons. We have studied your defenses. You cannot beat us. The screen went black. They're powering up their weapons, Admiral, shouted Lieutenant Ryan Foster from his station. Our sensors show they're using antimatter weapons. Patricia's mind worked quickly. The Galactic Council had laughed at Earth's weapons, but they didn't know all of Earth's secrets. Turn on the Aegis system, she ordered. Commander Miller looked surprised. Admiral, Aegis hasn't been fully tested yet. Well, we're testing it now. Do it. All across the solar system, small satellites that had been hiding in space woke up and connected to each other, making an invisible net around Earth. On the moon, huge machines hidden under the surface began to hum with power. The first Quillari shots came, bright purple beams of energy, heading straight for Earth's space stations. Aegis is working, called Miller. The purple beams hit what looked like empty space and then broke apart like water hitting glass, doing no damage at all. Everyone on the bridge cheered. Now, Patricia said in a quiet voice, let's show them what humans can really do. Start the Perseus program. Commander Miller and Lieutenant Foster looked at each other with wide eyes before typing in the secret codes. From the dark side of Earth, hidden platforms that no one knew about moved out of their hiding spots. These weapons looked nothing like the ones the Galactic Council had seen before. "Aim at their main ship," Patricia ordered. "Just one shot. Let's see if they want to keep fighting after this." The Perseus weapon powered up, using energy from Earth's fusion power plants. But instead of firing a laser or a missile, it shot a ball of swirling blue-white light toward the main Quillari ship. The Quillari tried to move their ships out of the way, but the energy ball followed its target like it was alive. It grew bigger until it surrounded the huge Quillari ship. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then, without any noise, the Quillari ship began to fall apart piece by piece, as if someone was taking apart a building brick by brick. "Open a channel." "To the Quillari fleet," Patricia ordered. "Channel open, Admiral." Patricia looked straight at the screen. "Quillari forces, that was just a demonstration. We used our weapon on only one ship. We have enough power to target your entire fleet. Leave our solar system now, or we will be forced to destroy more of your ships." Everyone on the bridge held their breath as they waited for the Quillari to answer. After what felt like forever, the screen lit up again. A different Quillari commander appeared. This one's shell was darker with more battle scars. "Impossible," the new commander clicked. "No young species has such technology. How did you do this?" Patricia allowed herself a small smile. "That's not important. What matters is that we can do it again, and again. Will you withdraw, or shall we continue?" The Quillari's many eyes blinked rapidly. Patricia could see fear in them now. "We will reposition our fleet to the edge of your system," the commander said carefully. "This is not a retreat. We are simply reassessing." "Call it whatever you want," Patricia replied. "Just move your ships away from Earth." As the Quillari ships began to slowly back away, Commander Miller leaned close to Patricia. "They'll be back," he whispered. "With more ships, and they'll be ready for Perseus next time." Patricia nodded. "I know. But we've bought time, and time is what we need most right now." She turned to look at the whole bridge crew. "Send a message to the Galactic Council. Tell them the Quillari attacked and Earth defended itself. Tell them we're ready to talk when they are." As Patricia looked back at the screen showing the retreating Quillari ships, she allowed herself to feel a moment of pride. Humanity had stood at the edge of darkness today and had not fallen in. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. This time no one was laughing. The huge room was quiet, and all eyes were fixed on the human delegates. Ambassador William Carter and Dr. Elizabeth Grant walked in with straight backs and serious faces. Behind them came a life-size 3D image of Dr. Samuel Hayes, Earth's top weapons scientist who couldn't leave his lab at this critical time. "You used a gravity weapon," the blue-scaled Zorkath shouted as soon as they entered. His voice no longer sounded mocking. Now it was full of fear and anger. "Such weapons are banned by Galactic Alliance laws." William stayed calm. "Laws that you didn't let us join, as you reminded us when you refused our membership." "The Quillari fleet has moved away from Earth," Elizabeth added, looking at her datapad. "But they're waiting just outside our detection range. We think they're calling for backup." The big reptile alien leaned forward. Its scales made a scraping sound as it moved. "Tell us about this weapon," it demanded. Dr. Hayes adjusted his glasses in the 3D image. "It's not a gravity weapon, though I understand why you might think that. The Perseus array creates a field that changes how atoms work inside a certain area. It makes the bonds between atoms weak and break apart. We can set it to cause small damage or to completely take things apart at the atomic level." The room filled with shocked whispers and gasps. "Impossible," said the bug-like Varaxian, its voice a harsh buzz. "Such technology needs an understanding of quantum physics far beyond what your species should have." "Maybe," Dr. Hayes said with a tight smile. "You underestimated us. Humans have been splitting atoms for centuries. Our physics advanced very quickly even before we started traveling in space." Zorkath slammed his scaled hand down hard. "You say you come in peace while having weapons that can destroy planets." William stepped forward. "We built these weapons as protection, knowing we were small and new in a big and dangerous galaxy. The Aegis defense system and Perseus array were made for one purpose: to make sure that no matter how advanced an enemy might be, attacking Earth would cost them too much. He paused, looking around the room. We didn't fire first. We didn't provoke, the Quillari. Yet you ignored our warnings and laughed at our defenses. The question now is, Elizabeth said, will the Galactic Alliance help in this fight? Or must Earth stand alone against the Quillari Empire? The council members looked at each other with worried faces. Finally, Zorkath spoke again. The Alliance cannot officially help without a full vote, which would take time. However, he paused, choosing his words carefully. We can share information about Quillari ship movements and military abilities as a sign of goodwill. William nodded. And our request to join the Alliance? We will look at it again with new information, Zorkath said. But first, we must deal with the bigger problem. The Quillari will not accept this defeat. They will come back with more ships and they will target your Perseus array first. Just then, Elizabeth's datapad made an urgent beeping sound. Her face went white as she read the message. Ambassador, she said in a tight voice. We're detecting strange energy at the edge of our solar system. The Quillari backup has arrived and they've brought ships unlike anything we've seen before. William turned to the council. Share what you know about these new ships. Now. The small green alien who had recognized the Quillari death fleet earlier stood up. If they've called what I think they have, you are in grave danger. Those are void breakers, ships that can tear holes in space itself. Dr. Hayes's image flickered as he received the same data. The readings matched nothing in our database. What exactly can these void breakers do? The green alien looked scared. They create weapons that ignore all normal defenses. They can reach through space and pull apart matter from the inside out. Like our Perseus array, Samuel muttered, but much more powerful. Will your Aegis system work against them? William asked. The alien shook its head. No known shield can stop a void breaker attack. That's why they're only used in the most desperate wars. Elizabeth looked up from her pad. The Quillari High Commander is broadcasting a message to Earth. She pressed. A button and a large screen lit up in the council chamber. A Quillari bigger than any they had seen before appeared. Its shell was black with red markings, and it wore a crown-like structure that glowed with power. Humans, the High Commander's voice boomed. Your resistance was unexpected, but it changes nothing. You have merely shown us that you deserve the honor of facing our true power. In one planetary rotation, the void breakers will fire. Say goodbye to your world. The screen went dark. One day, William said, turning to the council. Why would they give us warning? Zorkath's scales had turned a pale blue, the color of fear in his species. They're not being merciful. The void breakers need time to charge. They're telling you exactly when you'll die because they know you can't stop it. William's face hardened. They don't know humans very well then. We've faced impossible odds before. We'll find a way. Elizabeth was already typing rapidly on her pad. I'm sending all this data to Earth Defense Command. Dr. Hayes, how quickly can you adapt the Perseus array to target these new ships? The scientist's face was grim in the 3D image. I don't know if we can. These void breakers operate on principles we've never seen. We need more information. William faced the council again. You said you'd share intelligence. This is the time. Give us everything you have on void breakers. How they work, their weaknesses, anything. Zorkath hesitated, then nodded. We will share what we know. But understand this, humans. In the 1,000 years the Alliance has existed, no civilization has ever successfully defended against a void breaker attack. William's eyes burned with determination. Then Earth will be the first. As the council members hurried to provide the information, Elizabeth leaned close to William. Do you think we can really stop them? She whispered. William looked at the concerned alien faces around them, the same beings who had mocked Earth's defenses just days ago. I don't know, he admitted quietly. But what I do know is that throughout human history, we've done our best work when our backs were against the wall. Above Earth, the Quillari void breakers moved into position, their strange engines bending light around them as they prepared to deliver their deadly attack. Deep under the Rocky Mountains, Earth's military leaders gathered in a secret room. They stared at a 3D map showing the solar system. The new Quillari fleet, 3 times bigger than the first one, had taken position just beyond Neptune. Admiral Patricia Winters joined the meeting through a secure video link from the USS Defiant, which was leading Earth's defense fleet in orbit. "Their new ships are bending reality around them," said Dr. Samuel Hayes, pointing to several huge vessels in the middle of the Quillari formation. "Our sensors can barely see them, but they appear to be weapon platforms unlike anything we've ever seen." President Alicia Martinez, who had stayed calm throughout the crisis, studied the map with narrow eyes. "Can our defenses stop this force?" "The Aegis system should still work against normal weapons," Samuel replied. "But these new ships, we don't know what they can do." General Frank Cooper, the head of Earth's military, pointed to the display. "The Galactic Council has sent us information about these ships. They're called Void Breakers, the most powerful Quillari weapons. They've never used them against a non-alliance world before. So we've been upgraded from annoying to serious threat," Patricia said with a dry smile from her video screen. "I'm almost flattered." "They're sending a message," announced Nicole Perez, the communications director. "It's broadcasting on all channels in all languages. They want to make sure everyone on Earth understands." The main screen changed to show the Quillari High Commander. This alien was bigger and had more armor than the previous commanders. The computer translated its clicking speech. "Humans, your resistance was unexpected. You have earned the honor of facing our true power. Your weapons impressed us, but they are nothing compared to the technology we have taken from 1,000 conquered worlds. Give up now, or face extinction." President Martinez stepped forward. "This is President Alicia Martinez of the Earth government. We still want peace, but we will not give up our world or our freedom. If you force this fight, what happens next is your fault." The Quillari's many eyes gleamed. "So be it. We attack in one Earth day. Prepare your final defenses and your final prayers." The screen went dark. "One day," Frank said thoughtfully. "Why give us warning?" "Mind games," Patricia suggested. "Or they're still setting up their void breakers to work in our solar system." Samuel's eyes suddenly went wide. "Or they're waiting for something else." He turned to his assistant. "Show me the sun's activity for the past 48 hours. The display changed, showing a sharp rise in solar flare activity. "They're waiting for a major solar storm," Samuel explained urgently. "Our sun is building up to a massive eruption. When it hits Earth, it will temporarily disrupt our power grid, including the power sources for Aegis and Perseus." "How long?" President Martinez demanded. "The eruption will happen in about 22 hours and reach Earth about 95 minutes later. They're timing their attack to hit us when we're most vulnerable." The room went quiet as everyone realized what this meant. Then, "We don't wait," Patricia said firmly. "We take the fight to them before the solar storm. A first strike?" Frank looked worried. "With what? Our fleet is outnumbered 10-1 even with the Perseus array." Samuel looked up from his calculations. "There's another option. Project Nemesis." President Martinez's face hardened. "Nemesis was deemed too dangerous for use. The power requirements alone can be met if we redirect all non-essential planetary power," Samuel finished. "It's risky, yes, but it's designed specifically for this kind of unbalanced fight." "Explain Nemesis to those who don't know about it," Martinez ordered. Samuel took a deep breath. "Nemesis is an extension of the Perseus technology. Instead of breaking molecular bonds, it creates a small pocket of altered space-time. Basically, a bubble where physics itself is temporarily rewritten. Within that bubble, advanced technology simply stops working." "For how long?" Frank asked. "That depends on the power and range. At maximum power, covering their entire fleet, perhaps 5 minutes. Patricia leaned closer to her camera. 5 minutes is a very long time in battle. If their advanced shields and weapons fail, our conventional forces could target their command ships. And the risks? Martinez pressed. Samuel hesitated. The energy needed is enormous. We'd be pulling power from the entire planet, and if the calculations are wrong, we could create a runaway reaction that damages our own solar system's space-time fabric. In simple terms, Doctor, Frank said, we could accidentally create a black hole, Samuel admitted. A small one, but still dangerous. President Martinez looked around the room, meeting each person's eyes before speaking. What other options do we have? We could try to hide some of our ships behind planets and moons, Frank suggested. Hit them from different directions. They'd still see us coming, Patricia said. And those void breakers could probably destroy a planet if they wanted to. What about evacuating Earth's population? Nicole asked. To where? Samuel shook his head. We don't have enough ships to move even 1% of our people, and the Kilari would just follow us. President Martinez stood silent for a long moment. Dr. Hayes, what are the odds of Nemesis working correctly? About 70%, he replied honestly. But the odds of surviving the void breakers without it are less than 10%. Martinez nodded slowly. Then we have no choice. Prepare Project Nemesis. And pray those calculations are right. There's one more thing, Samuel added. To reach the Kulari fleet, we need to get Nemesis close enough. But any ship we send would be destroyed long before it got there. So what do we do? Patricia asked. Samuel smiled grimly. We don't send a ship. We send thousands of tiny drones, each carrying a piece of the Nemesis field generator. They'll be too small for the Quilari to track effectively. How quickly can you get these drones ready? Martinez asked. We've been building them for years, Madam President. As a precaution, they're ready to launch within 3 hours. Martinez straightened her back. Then do it. Launch the drones, prepare Nemesis, and get our conventional forces ready to strike, the moment the Quilari defenses fail. As the meeting ended, Samuel's assistant handed him a tablet showing the sun's activity. The solar storm was building even faster than predicted. The clock was ticking, and Earth's fate hung in the balance. As Earth's sun began to shoot out its massive solar flare, humans made their move. The plan was brave, complicated, and very risky. Near the moon, the USS Defiant led a small group of Earth's best ships, but they didn't fly toward the main Quilari fleet. Instead, they looked like they were running away. They're taking the bait, Commander Jason Miller said as he watched Quilari ships break away from their main group. 30 Quilari ships are chasing us. Admiral Patricia Winters nodded. Keep going. Let them think we're running to hide behind the moon. At the same time, up in Earth's atmosphere, a group of fighter planes released what looked like old-fashioned nuclear missiles toward space. The Quilari easily shot down these missiles long before they could reach the alien ships. What the Quilari didn't notice were the thousands of tiny particles released when each missile was destroyed, a cloud of special material now floating toward their fleet. On Earth, Dr. Samuel Hayes watched the operation from the control center deep under a mountain. The Nemesis device hummed with growing power. Across the planet, cities went dark as energy was sent to power the project. The special material is 82% spread out, reported his assistant, Danielle Wright. The cloud is almost at the right thickness. Samuel checked his math one more time. The timing had to be perfect. If Nemesis turned on too early, the Quilari would notice the energy building up and retreat. Too late, and their void breakers would fire first. President Martinez's voice came through the secure radio. Dr. Hayes, the solar flare will hit us in 17 minutes. The Quilari are moving their void breakers into firing position. We're almost ready, Madam President. Samuel watched as the power levels climbed. Admiral Winters, is your fleet in position? Yes, came Patricia's response. We've led their chase ships behind the moon. Our shields are holding, but we can't keep this up much longer. Just then, the Quilari High Commander broadcast again. Humans, our sensors detect your pathetic tricks. Your little cloud of material is being destroyed as we speak. Your fleet runs away like cowards. In 10 of your minutes, our void breakers will tear open space itself around your world. Earth will not just be conquered, it will be erased. Samuel looked at Danielle. They saw the cloud but don't understand what it's for. That's good news. On the Defiant, Patricia gave the order. Start Operation Trojan Horse. Throughout the cloud of tiny particles, microscopic power cells turned on, changing what had looked like space junk into a huge, spread-out antenna. Quillari ships are firing at the cloud, Jason reported, but there's too much material. They can't destroy it all. In the mountain control center, Samuel took a deep breath and put his hand on the activation switch. Nemesis starting in 3, 2, 1. The power grid across Earth flickered wildly as Nemesis drew its massive energy. For a moment, the entire planet went dark. Then, through the particle cloud antenna, a pulse of energy, unlike anything ever used in war, expanded outward. It wasn't a destructive wave. It carried no force, no heat, no radiation. Instead, it changed the rules of physics within its expanding bubble. On the Quillari ships, alarms blared as systems failed. Their reality-bending fields collapsed. Weapons shut down. Even basic life support flickered on and off. "It worked," Danielle shouted, watching the sensor readings. Technology disruption across 97% of their fleet. Samuel didn't celebrate yet. "Admiral Winters, you have your window. Make it count." The Earth fleet came out from behind the moon, all weapons ready. The Perseus array, still working outside the Nemesis effect, aimed at the now vulnerable void breakers. "Fire everything," Patricia ordered. Earth's normal weapons would have been useless against the Quillari's advanced shields. But with those shields down, the attack was devastating. The massive void breakers, designed to project overwhelming power, but not to withstand direct attack, began breaking apart under the concentrated fire. "The High Command ship is calling us," Olivia announced on the Defiance bridge. The Quillari High Commander appeared on screen, backup systems clearly running on emergency power. For the first time, there was something new in its body language. Fear. "How?" it demanded. "This technology, it cannot exist. It breaks the fundamental laws of the universe." Patricia allowed herself a small smile. "No. It just understands those laws better than you do. Stand down your forces, leave our system, and we will let you go. This is your only warning." As if to make her point, another void breaker exploded spectacularly behind the commander. The huge Quillari seemed to think for a long moment before answering. "We withdraw. But know this, human. The Empire does not forget. We will return. And we'll be waiting," Patricia replied, "with even more impossible technologies you haven't seen yet." The call ended. In the Galactic Council chamber, silence filled the room as the representatives watched the Quillari fleet retreat from Earth space. What had started as mockery had changed into stunned respect, mixed with fear. Ambassador William Carter stood before them, tired but proud. "The Earth Defense Force has beaten back the Quillari invasion," he announced formally. "We did so with minimal loss of life on both sides, using technologies that, yes, the Council thought impossible for a species at our stage of development." The blue-scaled Zorkath spoke in a quiet voice. "The Alliance acknowledges Earth's unexpected abilities. Your application for membership will be fast-tracked." William shook his head. "Thank you, but Earth has changed its mind. We will not be joining the Galactic Alliance at this time." Surprised whispers spread through the chamber. "Instead," William continued, "we propose something different. Earth will establish itself as a neutral zone between Alliance and Quillari space. We will keep our defensive capabilities as a warning against any aggression from any source. And if the Quillari come back," the reptile representative growled. William's face hardened slightly. "Then they will face the consequences, as would anyone who threatens our world." As the human delegation left the chamber, the bug-like Varaxian turned to Zorkath. "These humans, they are more dangerous than we realized." "Yes," Zorkath agreed quietly, "and we almost made the mistake of making them our enemies." On the shuttle returning to Earth, Elizabeth Grant looked over at William. "Do you think they'll respect our neutrality?" William looked out at the stars. "They mocked our weapons until the first shot was fired. They won't make that mistake again." In the darkness of space, Earth's flag now flew with new meaning. not as a request for acceptance, but as a warning to any who would threaten the creativity, determination, and surprising power of the humans who called Earth home. The end.